Welcome to vSkills YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn about the top interview questions for Angular 10. So, let's get started. Question number 1. What is Angular? The answer is Angular is an open-source JavaScript framework written in TypeScript. Google maintains it, and its primary purpose is to develop single-page applications. As a framework, Angular has clear advantages while also providing a standard structure for developers to work with. It enables users to create large applications in a maintainable manner. Question number 2. What is an Angular single-page application? The answer is a single-page application, also abbreviated as SPA, is a web application or website which do not do a complete web page refresh against user interaction. Instead, all necessary HTML, JavaScript, and CSS code is either retrieved by the browser with a single page load or is dynamically loaded and added to the page as needed. Question number 3. What are the new features in Angular 10? The answer is, some of the new features in Angular 10 are: first, support for TypeScript v3.9, which has performance improvements for Angular builds. Second, the Angular package format does not include ISM5 and FISM5 distributions. Third, new date range picker in the Material UI library of Angular 10. Fourth, warnings about common JS imports. Fifth, optional stricter settings. Sixth, new default browser configuration. Question number 4. What is TypeScript in Angular 10? The answer is TypeScript is a typed superset of JavaScript programming language. It was created by Microsoft. TypeScript adds many features like optional types, classes, async or await, and many more. Program developed in TypeScript compiles to JavaScript. Angular is built in TypeScript and uses TypeScript as a primary language. Question number 5. What is the benefit of Angular 10? The answer is Angular 10 provides many built-in features like routing, state management, RxJS library, and HTTP services to quickly develop mobile and web applications, due to which it has become popular. Angular is open source and has long-term Google support. Question number 6. What are the main components of Angular 10? The answer is, the main components of Angular 10 are: first, template is the view part of an Angular application. Second, module is the logical division of an Angular application. Third, service creates components to share across the entire application. Fourth, component, the basic building blocks to control HTML views of an Angular application. Fifth, data binding connects application data with the DOM. Sixth, directives provide logic by template directives. Seventh, metadata added to an Angular class for more details. Question number 7. What are different forms of data binding in Angular 10? The answer is the different forms of data binding in Angular 10 are: first, from the component to the DOM, can be interpolation, adding property value from the component, or property binding, passing value from the component to the specified property or simple HTML attribute. Second, from the DOM to the component, event binding, call a specific method in a component if an event occurs. Third, two-way binding, data can flow both ways between DOM and component. Question number 8. What is ahead-of-time compilation in Angular 10? The answer is Angular 10 components and templates need to be compiled before running inside the browser. The ahead-of-time compilation is used in Angular 10 against just-in-time compilation due to better performance. In ahead-of-time compilation, the Angular 10 application compiles during the build time, so the browser loads the executable code and renders the application immediately, which leads to faster rendering and also has fewer AJAX requests. Question number 9. What is string interpolation in Angular 10? The answer is string interpolation is a one-way data binding technique that is used to output the data from a TypeScript code to an HTML template view. It uses the template expression in double curly braces to display the data from the component to the view. String interpolation adds the value of a property from the component. Question number 10. What is the difference between Angular 10 expression and JavaScript expression? The answer is, the difference between Angular 10 expressions and JavaScript expressions are: unlike JavaScript expressions, AngularJS expressions can be written inside HTML. AngularJS expressions do not support conditionals, loops, and exceptions, while JavaScript expressions do. AngularJS expressions support filters, while JavaScript expressions do not. Question number 11, what is Angular 10 CLI? The answer is: the Angular CLI is a command line interface tool to initialize, develop, scaffold, and maintain Angular applications directly from a command shell. Angular CLI needs to be installed before using it. Question number 12, what do you mean by a service in Angular 10? The answer is: a service in Angular 10 is used to provide a common functionality to various modules. Separation of concerns is achieved with a service as well as better modularity to store common functionality. Question number 13, what is the difference between constructor and ngOnInit? The answer is: constructor is the default method of TypeScript classes for initialization. ngOnInit method is present in Angular 10 and needs to be specified for defining Angular bindings. It is recommended that all Angular 10 bindings are in the ngOnInit method through the constructor is called first. We need to implement the onInit interface for using the ngOnInit method. Question number 14, what is dependency injection in Angular 10? The answer is: dependency injection, or DI, is a design pattern in which a class requests dependencies from external sources rather than creating them. Angular's DI framework provides dependencies to a class upon instantiation. Use Angular DI to increase flexibility and modularity in your applications. Question number 15, what do you mean by interpolation in Angular 10? The answer is: interpolation is a special syntax that Angular converts into property binding. It's a convenient alternative to property binding. It is represented by double curly braces. The text between the braces is often the name of a component property. Angular replaced that name with the string value of the corresponding component property. Question number 16, what is Angular template expression? The answer is: a template expression produces a value and appears within the double curly braces. Angular executes the expression and assigns it to a property of a binding target. The target could be an HTML element, a component, or a directive. Question number 17, what do you mean by parameterized pipe in Angular 10? The answer is: a parameterized pipe takes optional parameters for transforming input data to the desired output. It is created by declaring the pipe name with a colon followed by the parameter value. Multiple parameters are separated with colons. Question number 18, what is a custom pipe in Angular 10? The answer is: custom pipes are user-defined pipes. Pipe class is imported from the core Angular library. The pipe transform interface defines the custom transformation. The @pipe decorator defines the pipe name. Question number 19, what is the difference between pure and impure pipe in Angular 10? The answer is: the impure pipe is called frequently with every keystroke or mouse move. A pure pipe is called if Angular 10 detects a change in the value or the parameters passed to a pipe. Question number 20, what is observable in Angular 10? The answer is: observable is used in PubSub to support message passing amongst publishers and subscribers. Event handling and asynchronous programming are also managed by observables. Question number 21, what is bootstrapping module in Angular 10? The answer is: bootstrapping is the root module that is bootstrapped to launch the Angular 10 application. Every Angular 10 application has one Angular module called the root module. It is also called as app module. Question number 22, what is error handling in HTTP client of Angular 10? The answer is: error handling in HTTP client is managed in the component bypassing the error object as a present, as a second callback to subscribe method. Question number 23, what is multicasting in Angular 10? The answer is: multicasting is the practice of broadcasting to a list of multiple subscribers in a single execution. With multicasting observable, you don't register multiple listeners on the document, but instead reuse the first listener and send values out to each subscriber. Question number 24, what is the use of Angular router? The answer is: Angular router is used to provide navigation from one view to another as users perform application tasks. It is similar to navigation in a web browser. Question number 25, what is router outlet Angular 10? The answer is: router outlet in Angular works as a placeholder which is used to load the different components dynamically based on the activated component or current route state. Navigation can be done using the router outlet directive and the activated component will take place inside the router outlet to load its content. Question number 26, what are template-driven forms of Angular 10? The answer is: Template-driven forms use templates sectioned by directives for their control, validation, and more, which is custom written by the developer. These forms use two-way binding by utilizing the ngModel syntax. Question number 27, what is the use of trigger in Angular 10? The answer is: the trigger in Angular 10 is used to create an animation trigger containing the state and transition of the animation. ngModule, the module used by the trigger, is animations. Question number 28, what is the use of zone in Angular? The answer is: zone helps Angular know when to trigger change detection and let the developers focus on the application development. By default, zone is loaded and works without additional configuration. However, you don't necessarily have to use zone to make Angular work. Instead, you can opt to trigger change detection on your own. Question number 29, what is folding in Angular 10? The answer is: folding is a process in which the collector evaluates an expression during collection and record the result in the .metadata.json instead of the original expression. Question number 30, what is the use of Angular Universal? The answer is: Angular Universal, also known as server-side rendering, is a tool that allows the server to pre-render Angular application while the user hits your website for the first time. Server-side rendering has a bunch of benefits for SEO, performance, and accessibility of your web app. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.